AQA Biology. Key terms: species, organism that produces fertile offspring; antiseptic techniques, prevents contamination of cultures by unwanted microorganisms; courtship behaviors, signs that you're interested in mating; classification is the grouping of organisms together; taxonomy is the biological classification of organisms; and phylogeny is the science of connecting species on trees to show the evolutionary history. Species. How do populations become different species? Well, it's due to geographical isolation, then which causes selection pressures being different in different locations. So allelic frequencies change in the different populations, and over time they become so different that they can't interbreed, so stop interbreeding. And new species formation is when they're isolated, causes genetic variation amongst alleles, then natural selection takes its place, and then speciation occurs, in which you have a new species. Bacteria, antibiotic resistance. Well, this occurs when pathogenic bacteria has evolved and genetic changes which allow them to survive. Pathogenic bacteria have evolved which can withstand antibiotic attack. Antibiotics don't cause mutations for antibiotic resistance. And spontaneous random mutations may occur. So within these bacteria that have these random mutations, mean that they have resistant alleles to that antibiotic. So now the population is exposed to the antibiotic killing bacteria, and all of those without the allele die. But the bacteria that has the allele survive and reproduce, passing the resistance onto their offspring. And as they reproduce, they become a strain that cannot be killed. And after time, the majority of the population will carry that allele because all of the ones that didn't have the allele are now dead and are no longer able to reproduce. Natural selection and antibiotic resistance is due to directional selection. A mutation causes allele resistance. Some reproduce, those that are left at least, and they pass this on to the offspring, causing the allele frequency to move from where it was in the middle, where everybody didn't have that resistance, to the side where everybody does. Antibiotics. Test for the effects of antibiotics. Well, you get an inculated loop and you sterilize it in a flame. This will kill any bacteria that was on the loop. Then you put the loop into the bacteria that you're testing for and spread it into a petri dish. Then you have a disc, and at different corners of that disc, they're soaked in different antibiotics. And then you place that disc on top of the petri dish in which you put the spread on. Now you get another petri dish and put it on top, and you seal with sellotape. Not fully though, because you need oxygen to be able to get in. So you leave like little gaps. And then when you come back after, and then you put it down, you come back after a few days, and there should be a clearing about certain bacteria. There should be a clearing around certain antibiotics, and this is called the inhibition zone. Aseptic techniques. Well, aseptic techniques are techniques in which keep this surface area clean. And this is disinfect surfaces, work near a flame, sterilize the inculation loop by passing it through the flame, sterilize all glassware. This prevents any unwanted bacteria getting into your sample. Courtship behavior. Why is courtship behavior important? Well, it allows individuals to recognize members of the same species, identify and make more capable of breeding, form a pair bond, and synchronize mating. Now you might wonder, why are these things important? Well, if you recognize a member of the same species, it ensures a mating will occur within the same species to produce fertile offspring. If you, I don't know, if a donkey and what is it? Is a donkey and a horse reproduce? They make a mule, I think it is. But the mule is infertile; it can't have offspring, so it's just kind of there. Then you have identify a identify a mate that's more capable of breeding, and you need it to be sexually mature, fertile, and able to receptible to the mating. They need to form a pair bond within certain animals, like swans, and this leads to successful mating and raising of offspring. And then synchronized mating, which allows the fetus to even be born. The classification system. So the classification system allows different things to be classified into different groups. So we can find out what is related to what. Scientists around the world can use the same system so there's no confusion. So now there are some rules for species, and it's used in the binomial system, which is Greek and Latin names. So the first name would be genus and the second name would be species. So the same way you'd introduce yourself as, I don't know, Paige Brown. Paige is my first name, and then Brown would be my second. So my surname would be the first name I say. So you would do it in order, to be honest. So genus first, then species. So if you were named to ask to name, I don't know, an ox in the binomial system, you would do genus and then species. So what is the order of taxonomy? Well, the order of taxonomy is domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Now you might be going, how in the am I going to remember that? Well, how I like to remember it, or this is how I was taught before I realized domain even existed, was king prawn curries or fat greasy sausages. So kingdom, king, phylum, prawn, curry, class, or order, fat, family, greasy, genus, species, sausages, and then domains at the top. This is the way I remember it. Or you can come up with your own little rhyme if you want to. And the types of classification are artificial and natural. So artificial would be physical characteristics, and natural would be evolution, hierarchy, features, and stuff like that. Now, hopefully this made everything a bit easier for you, and the next video will be about diversity within a community and humans. So if you like this video, then please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.